Hey Soul Fam, thank you so much for choosing me. I really, really appreciate you. I'm super honored. So I've gotten quite a few questions recently for all of these new tarot readers, and I'm so freaking excited that you guys are like starting this journey in tarot. So I picked up a deck, my first deck ever in 2016, and I've been reading like an obsessed person since then. But I believe that that's just the dedication that it takes to read tarot. It's something that you can show up for every day and just trust that that's really a part of developing what it is you probably admire in other people, right? The ability to connect with the cards, maybe even reading for other people, or just having these moments of really being able to have profound wisdom that you are recognizing is coming through you, right? Like just this connection to self. All of this is totally available every day, and it's about showing up in that space every day. So one of the questions that I get asked is, what's the best deck? Where do I start? So I advise to use the Rider-Waite deck. It's a really easy deck to get to know, but that imagery doesn't always work for everybody. So if you find yourself looking at that deck and you're not really inspired or lit up, or you just feel like there is something else out there that you want to experience, go with that intuitive hit. It's totally okay. If you buy a deck and then you realize, oh, this isn't what I prefer, there probably is something else I want to connect with, also follow that ping. Go ahead and gift that deck to another person, or maybe go to a tarot meetup or an exchange where you can maybe swap decks and try different things with people. Be very open and be very flexible and playful with how you bring a deck into your life, because there's really no wrong decision. It's just about looking at what really fits you and what you want to know in terms of what you're looking for to connect with in a deck in general. Like, what is it that you want to have the experience of, right? You want to be taught and led in a way that feels safe, and safe to explore things that might feel a little bit interesting or curious or even confusing. So you want to look for imagery that really promotes that. Some people don't even want square cards. There's a deck that is round, and that works for some people. Everyone is different. So really just tune in. And when you tune in, I trust that you will just be able to choose the right one for yourself. So this is what the Rider-Waite deck looks like. So this is kind of the imagery on here. So this is what I'm going to show you, the Morgan Greer deck. It's similar to the Rider-Waite deck, but it is a little different. And again, neither of them are right or wrong. They're just two different ways to look at a message. And again, you want the message to feel open to receive and open to explore, even if it is a little challenging to receive. Because we really are talking about energy here, and listening to your intuition and allowing your intuition to work with you, even as you purchase your own deck, even as you really attune to what is correct for you. Your soul has an idea, so you can really lean into this process. So when it comes to where to begin after getting your deck, I recommend just sitting back and just allowing your deck to be in your space. Truly just allowing your deck to be in your space. You don't really have to do anything with it if you don't want to. And then just sort of recognizing that it's now something that is in your life and you want to build a relationship with it, and look at it with a lot of curiosity. So you really want to bring that childlike nature to working with cards. This is simply my perspective, and I hope it resonates, but this is what I did. And then I took out every single card and I looked at it. I really just tuned into what I think could be happening. I just looked at colors. I didn't really overanalyze or think too much on it. I wasn't doing like a deep contemplation. I was just looking at the imagery, noticing what was happening in my body, noticing what my mind was kind of saying about whatever story was going on in terms of the picture. And then I went through the whole deck. And so I would say for about a year, I pulled a tarot card every day. That was a part of my practice. And it is something that I still do. I don't do it as consistently because my practice has developed into other things, but I do pull a card at least 3 or 4 times a week for myself to look at and to tune into. So when you're beginning, again, you want to find the pace that works best for you. So you might tune into a card once a month. You might tune into a card once a week. You might tune into a card 3 times a day, right? You might just pull 3 cards and see what happens. Your process is unique to you. The balance, I find, the easiest way and the quickest way truly to really gain a sense of mastery, like I said, is to show up every day, is to just dedicate yourself to something small and taking action on it. The reason why is you're not overcrowding the brain with all of this really beautiful new information. You need to remember that people dedicate their lives, their entire lives, to just reading tarot. So this is an incredibly profound practice for a lot of people. There's no rush. You don't have to dedicate your entire life, but I do believe that you having a working relationship with something that can help you, it does require you showing up. That is the dedication. However long you choose is truly about you and your journey. So usually the deck will come with a little white book. I feel personally like it's helpful to look at the white book, but you don't need to look at the white book. Everyone is different. When you look at the white book, understand that this is just somebody else's perspective of what the tarot says it's supposed to mean. But that's not necessarily true, because I've read for over 1,000 people at this point, and I know that one card represents something completely different to somebody else. What comes up for me one day in one card, 2 weeks later, could mean something totally different. This is the nature of working with energy and being flexible in terms of how you're connecting. Because what you see is going to be different because of who you are. Your life experiences are shaping the way that you look at tarot and utilize this tool in your own life, and then reflect upon it and then make choices. And it's really, really beautiful practice for you to expand more into your light, into your highest self, and evolve in a way that feels truly, I believe, just so safe. Because tarot reflects so much of life, but it's not perfect. Even the reflection of life through the lens of the other will never be exactly how we are experiencing it. So I just want to say, be sure that you're not handing your power away to any white book or any one book or any 7 books that have descriptions of what a specific tarot card could possibly mean. You're really here to bring your own wisdom and allow that to unlock as you tune in. I do want to recommend a book that I think is a great place to find balance. It's a good starting point, but remember, you're going to go deeper the more you show up in your practice. So this is 78 Degrees of Wisdom, A Tarot Journey to Self-Awareness by Rachel Pollock. This is a great book. Her description of the major arcana, and in the tarot you have the major and minor arcana. If you don't know that, you are learning, so don't worry about it. But she has a really great description of the major arcana here. There's some really, really beautiful, juicy information. And this book is one that takes a little while to digest. So remember, I've been reading since 2016. I dedicated a solid year to pulling a card every day and writing about it. I wrote about how it made me feel. I wrote about how I've experienced something like this, like what I just perceived in the card. And then I would look at what the little white book said and what this book said and what some other things online said. And I would say, okay, cool. These are maybe some themes, some things I can understand and relate to totally. But there's other things that are much deeper here. And then knowing that there is something deeper, that's where you can spend the majority of your time. You can just sort of glean that information, take a little snapshot of everyone else's stuff, and then continue to pull in your own wisdom. And that is, again, what requires that dedication and showing up. So when I pulled a card, I would just, in terms of meditating on it, so here I have the Hierophant. And when I meditated on this card in the beginning, I actually had like a lot of triggers because I thought that the Hierophant was a little bit like a authoritative and domineering. That was my perception of the Hierophant. But as I have moved through understanding the message of this energy, I no longer have that reaction to this card. That also means I no longer have that reaction to those experiences in my life that were once sort of rejecting and opposing something that held deeper wisdom, my own wisdom. So these cards really do unlock a lot of things in us, and they help us see beyond just one narrative, just one thing that it could be, because there's often a lot of things that things can be. But we have to be open to understanding what that might mean. So journaling is a really great way to allow yourself to explore, because this is something you do in the privacy of your own space, and there's no judgment. And I would reflect on what I had written at the end of the day. So I'd have my morning meditation with whatever card, and I would write about it. And then I would notice how that was in relationship to my life in the present moment in that day. What even could feel like the Hierophant? What did that even mean to me? Right? What is the wisdom that is coming down to me and making sense to me in my life? How am I writing my own codes? How am I my own authority? Those are questions that I began to ask myself and to play with. And these are things that you can also do, but you have to create the space for it. And that's what the dedication is in terms of getting to know and starting tarot. And I don't feel like I put in, like hundreds of hours in the beginning, because I was in grad school. I didn't graduate until 2017. So I was moving through a lot of different things, and school was actually coming first in my life. It wasn't tarot, but it was something, again, that I made room for. That's where the momentum builds. It's, again, by taking those tiny steps every day. Tarot might not be the thing that you do the rest of your life. I also want to invite you into that as you begin, because I think a lot of times people, and it's totally fine to get excited, and if you know immediately off the bat that you want to be a reader for your life, beautiful. But if you don't, release that pressure, because it might not be for you in terms of holding space to be a professional reader. That might not be your thing, and it's totally okay if it is. You're going to utilize this tool, and it will make itself known how it wants to be in your life on a day-to-day basis, and perhaps with other people as well. But yeah, when I first started, I was using it as a tool of self-development, and then I really enjoyed it, and I wanted to ask everybody if they would let me read for them, and they did, because I wanted to get the reflections and the experiences and what were other people having and taking away, and I wanted to know about the system. So that's the lens that I came from, and it's just been something that I'm like, whoa, this is something I want to dedicate my life to. But everyone is different, and so know that wherever you find yourself on this journey in your tarot practice, whether it's being hesitant, whether it's just having a bunch of questions, whether it is maybe you've been reading for a little bit and you're just like, I don't know if this is for me anymore. It's all okay. It's all totally okay. Take a step back and do what you can do to just feel safe in moving forward, in quieting down the noise, or just remaining in a little bit of a pause to see what else is next for you in this direction or in another direction. So I really, really hope that this supports you. Please keep me posted. So you can message me. My email is jessica.mazzo@magicalsoulhealing.com. And my Instagram is @Jess_the_Empress. All right, blessings.